Hello, welcome to this video. My name is Eva, and in this video I talk about the challenges and like the downsides of moving to a different country, because I think that this whole process of moving to a different country can be quite challenging in some ways. And even though I'm like so grateful that I made the decision to move to a different country, and for me personally it was the right choice, and like I'm really grateful that I did it. Still, like it was really hard at times, and even though I think the challenges made me stronger as a person, still it was hard. And I think that talking about those challenges can be really, really important for other people as well, to kind of like create a space where you can talk about your challenges, because I feel like when I talk about them and when I share them, like the heaviness already gets a little bit easier. So if you're thinking about moving to a different country, in the process of moving to a different country, or if you're already living in a different country and you're having some struggles, I really hope that this video will give you some comfort, safety, and makes you feel less alone. Really important also, I want to say, like, those challenges are universal, because like for me, I didn't really recognize that. So when I moved to a different country and I had those challenges, I was like, I'm just stupid or like, what am I doing? But in the end, like, those challenges, they happen to most people. So it's not like you're the special weird person that struggles with those challenges. Like, those challenges usually happen to almost everyone in a certain degree. So you don't need to feel alone. And for me, that was a huge learning lesson, that like those challenges are universal, and it's not that I can't figure it out, but it's just like a normal process that happens to most people and a lot of people. So the first one obviously is, for a lot of people, if not most people, is homesickness. So I for sure felt homesick for my family. Like I really missed them, and I missed like the small conversations, for example with my mom, like just like seeing her on the weekend and like talking with her. And now I can still talk with her over the phone, but I feel like sometimes I really just wish to like give her a hug, or like really have those conversations that sometimes I feel like it's hard to have them on the phone, and it's just more natural to have them over, like when you're having that direct conversation with that person. So for me, that's something that I still struggle with. I still struggle with missing my family, and also seeing them getting older. That's also kind of really hurtful for me personally, and it's really hard to see that. um so homesickness is a big one. um Also, like sometimes I miss Germany, but I feel like that's getting less. Like I remember the first year of living abroad, I really miss Germany like hardcore. But now that I'm building kind of a life in a different country, I feel like I'm building my life in a different country. So I feel like I miss Germany as a country less. But I still love to visit Germany in the summer, because I think Germany in the summer is for me so beautiful, and I also really like enjoy the vibe, and the people are so awesome in Germany. Like in the summer everyone is kind of like so happy, so I really love that. um yeah, also, one thing that I think is really helpful if you struggle with homesickness, that really helped me. I think already I made a video about homesickness in, but very short. What helped me was to, of course, like have contact with my mom, etc., over the phone, like talk a lot with her on the phone, and have that conversations, even if it's digital conversations. Also, like, if possible, I try to visit them at least like once or twice a year. Um, so just to have like that possibility to see them, and also maybe have some rituals of like eating German food, or what also helped me was to have like German friends. That helps me so much to feel like connected with my home culture, and to make me miss Germany less. The second big struggle, or the second challenge, is for me adjusting to a different culture. Because for me, when I was living in Germany, I was like, I feel German, but at the same time I also feel like very Spanish, like I'm really extroverted, I love the sun. But here in Spain I realize how German I am. Like I like people, like I like punctuality, I like to go to bed early, I like to get up in the morning early. So I mean, for Germans, it's normal. Like, I go to bed at like 10, 11. But here in Spain, especially if there's like a fiesta, like a party, like people go to bed at like 4 in the morning. So, like, those little small things of adjustments. Um, and also, okay, maybe because my boyfriend is Spanish, so I feel like I recognize those differences even more than maybe if I would be together, if I would be together with a German person. But like those social norms, those expectations, they can really cause misunderstandings. They can cause conflicts also sometimes, and I feel like it's a little bit for me this balance that I'm trying to navigate also in a relationship that I have between adapting to a different culture and like being open to new experiences, but at the same time also preserving my own identity and preserving my own culture. And what really helped me with that was to say, like, okay, I don't lose Germany as my home country, I win another country as my home. So it's not like I have to give up one home for another home, but I have two homes. And I have two cultures, and I think that's such a beautiful way of looking at it, and I feel that way for sure. I feel like for me Germany will be like, regardless, I'm not talking about like politics or about that specifics, but just Germany as a country with, especially I grew up in Bavaria, so I feel still very connected with like some aspects of Bavarian culture, not all, but some of them, and I feel like that's still my home, and at the same time I gain a new culture by adapting to a different country, like that Spanish culture in a way, and that's beautiful. And I feel like for me that's something that I cherish so much, and that really helps me to navigate that process of like adapting to a different country while not losing my own identity, my own cultural identity. Next challenge that can happen when moving to a different country is, for most people, for me as well, building social relationships, like meeting friends, because I moved here to Spain not knowing basically anyone, or like having real friends. So, uh, like, it does take some time, and I think it does take some time, and it can feel quite lonely also and quite isolating in the beginning. My advice is have a hobby that you like for me it's dancing, but you can also like, I don't know, basketball or swimming or boxing, whatever it is, and then go to those hobbies and those events, and then that's how you meet friends. Like, meeting friends for me happens by going to the same event and meeting the same people over and over again, because each time that you go to that event and you meet those people you can talk, and then each time you talk more the closer the friendship gets, at least for me with some people. And that's how I met friends. Like, for me, I have most of my friends from dancing, and then also some other events that I go to, like I like psychological event, like kind of like self-help, self-improvement, healing, psychological healing, those types of things. So I go to those events as well, and also entrepreneurship. So that's kind of the people that I meet there. And my advice for that challenge would be to see it as a chance, because it's kind of like a fresh start, and you can really make new friends with the interests that interest you. So I think that for example, I really changed as a person over the years. Of course, kind of the core foundation will always be the same. Like, I like core values such as being funny and being kind of like kind. I try, not always, but I try to be kind. And like those core values stay the same, but like I still change and evolve and try to kind of meet new people. And I think that's kind of such a cool opportunity, that if you go to a different country, that you start completely fresh. So that helps me. And then just like to go to events and to really invest time and say, like, okay, on the weekends I'm not gonna work, but I will invest time in making friends, because that's also super super valuable, because like friends will really, at least for me, helps me so much to kind of survive in a different country, because like there are so many challenges that come when you move to a different country, and I feel like if you have that support system with kind of friends, it makes it so much easier to kind of survive the challenges, and like to push through them and to have a much better experience. So, and I think for my mental health also, like just having friends and hanging out with friends for me is so valuable and so important. And I really notice it, like I'm so extroverted, so if I don't like go dancing, or if I don't see my friends, like I get so depressed, like not depressed, but I get so sad. So yeah. Also, another challenge is bureaucracy, and that's a huge one. Also, something that I did not to do too much. Like I prepared a lot. I prepared some things. For me, they seemed a lot that I prepared about bureaucracy, but once I got to the country, I understood that I didn't prepare that much. So I would really recommend like bureaucracy already before moving to a different country. Get a certain like research what is the healthcare system, what is, if you have children, what is the school system like, what is the language like, what is like the registration like, what is the tax system like, just to have a general overview, because that's something that I've really underestimated how much that actually is to learn, because it's kind of like learning a whole different system. It's like you learn, for me, I learned the German system because that's where I grew up in, and I'm already like, oh, it's so complicated with all of the tax, and then you go to a different country with a different language and you have to learn basically a whole system, how it works. So it's really something I would recommend to already do it at home before you move, like at your home country, before you move to a different country, just to have an idea. Also, if you have the money, I would highly recommend to kind of to get someone who can help you get those specific things, like a registration number, those types of things. Like, but still, I would highly recommend to still research, like what is the medical system like, what is the tax system like, because even I think even if you pay someone else to get you certain things, I think you still need to have like an idea how things work. But yeah, I would highly recommend to, like, if you have the money, to pay someone who can do some of those small tasks, especially I think if you don't speak the language perfectly yet, because it's one thing to, for example, I speak Spanish on a like not like fluent, I don't know, like in a conversation I can talk, but it's a whole different level to have like law or like bureaucracy in Spanish, because sometimes even in German, like I'm struggling to understand what this whole like bureaucracy is trying to tell me, and so it's even harder in a different language. So I would highly recommend to get help, or like if you don't speak the language yet, someone to can help you translate it that you trust. Then also like another challenge that can happen if you move to a different country is like the job situation. So either maybe you have a business in your home country and you want to bring that business to a different country. Sometimes it can happen that just it's a different culture. So sometimes maybe the business that you had and worked well in your home country might not work well in the other country, because maybe it's just different of norms, different of culture. That can happen. Or also if you sometimes have certain qualifications, like in your home country, they might not get recognized in in the new country that you go to. So you might have to make certain qualifications, or some jobs that you have, they might not exist in the new country that you want to move to. So that's also something that I underestimated a little bit, like that whole job situation, and like how different the German system is from the Spanish system also when it comes to jobs. So I would highly recommend already before you move to a different country, already research a little bit, or research a lot if possible, what the job situation is like, um, and how you can get a job, how you can get money. That would be very helpful. Um, and also to make like to be flexible. Sometimes, at least for me, like sometimes it's also necessary to take on jobs that you don't like so much, or maybe that are under your qualifications for a while, until you figure out how to get to the jobs that you actually like to do. And it's just a process, and it can take certain weeks or months or even years, and it's part of that process of emigrating to a different country and adapting to the country, because in the beginning it can be quite a lot. So it's sometimes the process of it. So that would be my advice, to first prepare a lot in advance, and also be flexible. Like if you get a job offer but maybe it's not the 100% right thing for you, you can still try it out. and step by step you can build your career in a different country, but it will take time also. And the last one is also for me personally, like the challenge of uncertainty, like for me because like in the beginning I was like, oh, I would just try it out and I would just go there and just see how it turns out. And then like after some time I was like, oh man, this is so much harder than I thought. And like, man, this is like real life problems of moving to a different country. So I definitely underestimated like how hard it's gonna be. But I think I'm also happy because like I think if you go with a little bit of naivete into a different country, like at least you do that step. So yeah, but kind of dealing with that uncertainty, I will highly, and that's also something that I've done and I'm really really proud of it and really grateful that I did it, is before I moved to a different country, actually I saved up money. And that's something I can recommend, because you sometimes you move to a different country, you have a plan, and then the plan is like flying away just because of unforeseen circumstances or something. So if you have like that financial background, no, financial, how do you say in English, like that financial puffer, that you have saved up money, it can make everything so much easier. And you can be like, okay, I have time to adjust, I have saved up enough money, and it can really reduce the stress that you feel when moving to a different country. So conclusion, I would highly recommend, if you have the dream of moving to a different country, to do it, because I think not everyone has that dream. But if you have that dream like me, when I was 12 already, I wanted to move to a different country, so I always dreamed of moving to a different country. And for me, even though I had so many challenges, like, and sometimes I really wanted to give up, still I'm so grateful that I did it. It really helped me tremendously in my personal growth. I feel really that I grew up in a time of moving to a different country, because like you either, at least for me, I was in a situation of like, okay, either I give up and I go home to Germany, or I push through it. And by pushing through it, like I really think that I grew a lot as a person. So but that's just my personal opinion and my personal story and all of that. So but yeah, I would still, like, if you have that dream and if it works for you and your background, I would give it a chance. For me it was hard at times, but so worth it, and I'm so so grateful for my younger self for like pushing through and for like trying my best. And even if I kind of like quote unquote fail, or like, or I was thinking like, what am I doing, that I still was like, that I still kept going. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and see you in my next video. And you can like the video, and you can also tap the link in the description box. And I see you I already said that, but like maybe see you in my next video, and that's it. So